What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to another Sports Talk on Tap video. We're here. You can find daily videos Monday through Friday covering all the four major sports leagues, whether that be NFL, NHL, MLB, or NBA, games, news, highlights, or contract extensions. Happy Monday to everyone. Week is just getting underway, so, mixed feelings. But it is summertime, so it is better than, say, the school year week for at least us. But with that being said, we had some big news over the weekend that we are going to talk about today, and that starts with two quarterbacks that just got absolutely paid. Tua Tagovailoa earlier, I believe it was on Friday, signs a 4-year, $212 million extension with the Miami Dolphins. And then just a couple hours later that Friday evening, Jordan Love signs a contract. I believe it's like 4 years, $55 million per. So, you guys can do the math. I think it's like 220 to become the highest paid quarterback in the league after both of those guys were kind of holding out before they got their contracts paid or got their new contracts. And now they're kind of waiting on the last one, which is Dak Prescott and what the Cowboys do there. But Nick, with that being said, two of these quarterbacks just got paid and big money, 50 plus. And I want to get your reaction to them because I think we might have different reactions, but I'm always curious to get your thoughts.
Okay. It's tougher. I think both of these are it's like a I don't know type of thing. I know Jordan Love wasn't practicing until he got paid. I don't know about Tua's case. I don't know if he was, holding out or whatever. But, I've verbally said that I don't think Tua is worth $50 million a year on this podcast. I said Jordan. I don't know if I've, said anything about Jordan Love. I think he definitely has the upside of being one of these top paid QBs, but I'm not sure if 12 games from a season plus a few playoff games, which obviously mean a lot, but let's call it 14 good games. I'm not sure if that warrants being the highest paid quarterback in the league. And I get the whole, he wasn't practicing until he got a Trevor Lawrence type contract, and that's pretty much exactly what this is. I think he's making the same amount of money, if not a little bit more. But it's shaky for me. I'm definitely more confident in Jordan Love just because he's younger. He's proven he can do it, in the bigger games, which I still don't know with Tua. And Tua's is just how old is Tua? I want to say he's 27 or 28.
Yeah, I think probably 26-ish, if I had to guess.
Okay, so he might be on the younger side, but still, with his injury history, and I just feel like last year was Tua's ceiling. What we saw last year from Tua is going to be him at his A game, and that's, just getting the ball to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle and just letting them go. And it seemed like in the later games, like we keep talking about when it got colder out or when the lights seemed to get a little brighter, it seemed like Tua seemed to kind of take a step back a little bit. And maybe it'll be different now that he's got his money. I don't know. I don't know how, he operates personally, but I'm shaky on these two contracts and much more on Tua because you got to think about it from a team standpoint too. It takes away flexibility because it's going to be tough for them to pay Tua, Tyreek, and Jalen Waddle, and then some of their other talent. They're going to have to let somebody walk. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. We would have two different answers, but no, I pretty much agree. When people talk about this Green Bay Packers model of sitting a QB for 3+ years and how it's a genius idea, it's a stupid idea. And regardless of the matter is, you've just wasted the whole point of a rookie scale contract. Instead, you have to bank on what Jordan Love was the second half of the season when he played, 9 good games and, led you to a playoff win. But, you're still taking a risk to make him the highest paid quarterback. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't even deserve top 7, top 8. Regardless of what you think his ceiling is. I mean, we saw a lot of good, but don't forget, players or teams are going to adjust to what he did well in the second half. And I'm not saying that he can't overcome that, but first half, good. You showed some good, you showed some bad. Where you're going to lead to next year will be a big question mark. But $55 million is just a lot, and to be the highest paid is so disrespectful. I don't know why people think they deserve more than Mahomes. And this isn't just obviously a Jordan Love thing, but it goes back to even QBs that I think are maybe top 5. Joe Burrow doesn't deserve to be paid over Patrick Mahomes. That's just disgusting. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is by far the best quarterback, and anyone who thinks that they should make more money than him is absolutely crazy. And it's crazy that we're having QBs like Tua that haven't even won a playoff game reset in the quarterback market. And I think Tua's good. Similar situation though, he's not $50 million. And when you pay these guys, it's good news for Patriots fans, for Bills fans, and for Jets fans, because this team is going to get weaker as soon as his contract kicks in after I believe next season. It's just not good. It's not good all around. And when you do something like this and you're already paying Tyreek Hill the money, you're gonna have to make some tough choices, whether that be Jalen Waddle next off season, or someone else. This team is going to start losing important players. Will they be able to pay Devon Achane? It's kind of when he needs a contract in a couple of years. It's just going to be tough to see what this team can do. And I think for Miami, this really is their last year if they want to do anything special to do it now, because they still have everyone. But even then, they didn't re-sign Christian Wilkins due to cap space. So maybe you could argue their peak was last season. And for the Packers, you had to make a tough choice whether or not you paid a quarterback that was good in the second half of the year, because of the dilemma you put yourself in, where you rested him for 3 years, ripped up that 5th-year option, did a 2-year deal, and then he sits out to become the highest paid quarterback. And, I'm high on the Packers, and anyone that's seen our preseason predictions or whatever, but this contract, I don't know. And even if he does pan out to be, top 10 to 5, top 10 QB, it's still an overpay. And I get it. Sometimes you have to overpay some guys, but this is kind of bleeding into the wide receiver market too, where we're seeing guys like, CD Lamb sit out, Jamar Chase, and, obviously I think those guys are closer per se to, a Justin Jefferson than maybe a Tua is to Patrick Mahomes. But at some point we just gotta, cut it. And, the Cowboys, I think maybe in that, where they're just saying, look, you're not better than Jefferson, so you're not making more than him. And that might be, the reality that some of these teams will have to face. And there's going to be who's going to be the team to, stop this, from keep happening. I'm very curious, when it kind of ends. And, it goes back to Trevor Lawrence, because Trevor Lawrence, what the hell's that guy doing making $55 million? He's not even top 7 in this league. I don't even know if he's top 10 just based on the year he had last year. So, it's very tough to see, but I'm curious what team will make the stand, in these crazy wide receiver quarterback markets to say, listen, Tua, you haven't won a playoff game. You haven't stayed healthy throughout your career yet. We can give you $30 million, not 50, something like that. I'm curious though, what it'll lead to.
Yeah. I'm going to go back and just touch on a few things that you touched on. First, the Patrick Mahomes thing, I 100% agree. I don't think anybody deserves to be paid higher than him just because he's far and away the best quarterback, best player in the league. But to be fair, when Patrick Mahomes got paid, that contract was far and above anything we've ever seen for quarterbacks.
Exactly, but why is anyone touching that?
I get that, but I think that's kind of that contract. Sorry, it really set the market for all these future quarterbacks who are Patrick Mahomes was the prototype for what every franchise wanted, like an athletic quarterback who can kind of do it all. And we're seeing all those quarterbacks get these huge deals now, like guys like Jordan Love or bigger guys who can move around, make a ton of throws. They're the ones getting all these $50 million deals. And I agree that none of them should be paid higher than Patrick Mahomes. And when we look back at it now, Mahomes' deal is a team-friendly deal because when you scale Mahomes to this market, he should be making like $70 million a year compared to these quarterbacks.
But you see what the Chiefs had to do. They had to make some tough financial decisions down the road, which was, cut Tyreek Hill or not cut, but trade him and be like, hey, we can't pay you, so go here. Mahomes, take this rookie Rashee Rice, Sky Moore the year before and go win a Super Bowl. He does that back-to-back years. Yeah. Say, hey, Tua, your contract's a little expensive. We're gonna, have to trade Tyreek Hill in like a year or so. Go win a Super Bowl. That'd be, not happening. So I don't know. I just find it so tough. Patrick Mahomes, even at the time, deserved it because you could tell within his first year or two, just he was the best quarterback in the league by far. And he won it in his second year starting. And so, I don't know. It just feels weird. As soon as that, it goes back probably a couple of years ago, the first person that kind of, overmatched him, it's like, is it like what? Why did that first quarterback reset the market? Why did they make more than Patrick Mahomes? What have they done to prove that they make more? Because if I'm Jordan Love and I look at Trevor Lawrence making $55 million, I want that too. I'm not mad at Tua or Jordan Love because Trevor Lawrence has kind of had an iffy start to his career. He's had some high lows. Some high highs, some low lows. But, at the end of the day, Jordan Love was like, I just led my team to a playoff win. Same thing Trevor Lawrence has done 3 years starting. So, I don't blame him for, wanting that kind of money. And same with Tua, he puts up the yards and touchdowns. And he's like, why can't I be making this? But, at the end of the day, like I said, the whole Packers formula that they get credit on and what the Falcons are trying to do is just stupid. Because what if Michael Penix in 3 years from now, has a good rookie season? He's going to want $60 million the way the quarterback market is going. So it's just stupid and you waste the whole point of a rookie contract. And, I'm fine with, a quarterback like, Drake May or JJ McCarthy, sitting for a year. But, after that, it's like go time. There ain't, waiting around. Because then you still have 3 years of rookie scale money with a fifth-year option. So, 1 year isn't crazy, but, basically 3 to 4, and then you have to make a decision based on a 9-game sample size. And, I do think Jordan Love will be good, but there is always that risk that teams catch up to him and that, streak, just was his highest high. And then you're looking at $55 million and like shit.
Yeah. That was the other thing I wanted to touch on was like the whole – benching rookies. I'm more so with you in that I'm okay with it for like the rookie year, especially just because now I'm seeing it. We've seen it work out with the Packers and not work out with the Patriots where they threw in Mac Jones and, his highest season was his rookie season. And since then he's gone downhill because he just hasn't been able to learn. But I think it also is very situational. Like the reason Jordan Love was sitting was because he was behind Aaron Rodgers. And that's one where I do understand. But then if you're the Packers, you got to think, okay, well then let's draft a receiver. What did you say?
Yeah, but then what was the point of that draft pick? Because if you're riding Aaron Rodgers, 2 NFC championship games, but back-to-back 1 seeds, you had a receiver, maybe you win one of those Super Bowls. It's either way, the pick just doesn't make sense. If you're going to sit a QB for 3 years, you just wasted the whole point of the benefit of a rookie scale contract.
Yeah, that's what I was going to just kind of get into is like if you are planning on, hey, this guy's not going to play until his 4th year, then just take somebody else. And unless he's generational, maybe the Packers, scouting department said this kid's going to be, the best thing since we've drafted Aaron Rodgers. And in that case, I understand it. But if you're, planning on still having Aaron Rodgers there for 3 years, where he's probably going to take your team to the playoffs, then you got to help him there rather than let's plan for when Aaron Rodgers leaves or retires or whatever way down the road. And then we got to pretty much pay this kid after his first year as a starter. That's kind of a weird way to do, to do business. And maybe they were saying it worked with Rodgers, but the market wasn't what it is now with Rodgers. Like, I don't know how many years Favre started in front of Rodgers. I want to say like 2. So Rodgers probably got 2 years and then got his extension. But obviously it wasn't $55 million because this is, Jordan Love's now the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. But scaling wise, I'm curious to see what Rodgers' first extension was compared to this, because it's become such a quarterback heavy league now. And maybe when Rodgers stepped in, it wasn't as quarterback heavy or quarterback reliant. So I don't know.
No, I agree. But like I said, overall, I'm on the same field as you. I think the Jordan Love is, I think maybe just a little bit more riskier of sample size, but is probably still the most potential just from what we saw. I think he has that ceiling. What he did in Dallas, almost winning San Francisco. That's impressive. I think the Tua, what you're going to get, but it's not $50 million worth. And just the injury history scares me a little bit. But overall, we should see how those play out and see what Dak gets, as that we'll probably approach as we dive into more training camp stuff. But with that being said, obviously we'll be going out to Patriots training camp soon, so I'll be exciting. We'll have notes for the listeners. But yeah, with that being said, training camp, I believe a lot of teams start full pads today, so we'll make sure to see some Patriots clips. Jordan Love, Tua, Jefferson, all the superstars, the rookies. See what kind of impact they're making. We'll be here to talk about those things as they happen throughout the week. But with that, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and let us know in the comments. Were the Tua and Jordan Love contracts worth it? Were they an overpay, or did they rightfully deserve that kind of money? We're always curious to get your guys' thoughts. Me and Nick kind of seem to be in sync about this, but there's always people definitely with a different opinion, as we've seen in the comment sections a couple times. But with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content. Enjoy y'all Monday. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.